I just don't like this light because for its size, it's not as powerful as it should be. I don't like anything about it. Old school, too big, not powerful enough. Throw it into the ocean as soon as you get a chance.
Put that thing back where it came from, also help me.
Justin and Adam here in the middle of a park, in the middle of the night, in the middle of a rainstorm, because we want to show you the lights that we've been using for the past 2 years. Why we chose those lights, and we're going to compare them to what a lot of people in the industry are using for lights, and show you why we prefer to use these ones. What we're looking at here, our mannequin, you might recognize that as Ellie. Canon R5s. We're using a super telephoto in this case so we can keep the camera near the lights. Not something we normally do, but it's what we're going to do today to better explain what we're up to. The light that we have right now is everybody's favorite, the Aputure Lightstorm 60X. Bicolor, super powerful, adjustable spot, just about everything people want. As you know, not easily battery powered. I can run Sony NPF batteries, which are real cheap, or you could also get a V-mount. Too big for me. I own them, I don't bring them on travel things. This is the Practilite with the Yoke DMX, but it's the same Practilite. People have been using these for years. I got one a couple years ago.
All the way from,
I don't know, Estonia?
Estonia.
Been using these for the last couple years. The Stella Pros, this is the CLx10. Constant light, it's waterproof. It's got built-in battery. You can adapt a Fresnel onto it. They're ultra compact. #1 favorite light right here. Next to that, we have the Lume Cube. This is the Lume Cube 2.0. People have been looking for a replacement for the Torch 250s from Switchtronics, and they've been looking at these. Very compact, fit in a tiny bag, not powerful. These are the Switchtronics Core 250 lights. Use those for about 5 years. They're great, they're bicolor. You can put on a bunch of Sony NPF batteries on it, and the batteries last for like 4 or 5 hours, which is fantastic. They stopped making them, and they're not nearly as powerful as they were compared to the rest when they came out. Last but not least, this is the new kid on the block. This is the Stella Pro Reflex. It's not even technically a constant light. It's a powerful speed light that photographers use, but it doubles as a constant light, and it has almost as much power as any of these. Let's compare these. We've got our mannequin head about 30 feet away, which is how I like to shoot wedding receptions. Back up really far. That way we can get our wide shot in addition to our tight shots. And photographers super appreciate when you're not 2 feet from the couple, which is why we use the lights we do. Make good friends with your photogs.
Смотри, камеру разбил, ехай! Нифига себе!
Let's take a look at our Aputure Lightstorm. We're just going to run everything at maximum power. So this is 100% intensity. Right now we're shooting everything in daylight, 5600 Kelvin. So the camera's also set to 5600 Kelvin. Second most popular, probably got to be the Practilite. Let's go ahead and kill the Aputure. Aputure is great. I don't like using it because it's really big. Practilite, almost the same size as the Aputure, not as powerful. Let's see what we got. Does this focus anymore? It does not. So do you see what I see on the screen? Also bicolor, also a spotlight. Also receiving constant power, we're not powering off a battery. This is as bright as it goes, and you can see the problem we have. It just doesn't have the throw that the Aputure does. I just don't like this light because for its size, it's not as powerful as it should be. Gosh, I don't like anything about it. Practilite from Kinotechnic, old school, too big, not powerful enough. Throw it into the ocean as soon as you get a chance. All right, we're gonna kill the Practilite. But Adam, the Practilite goes up to super speed mode. That's just combining the daylight and the tungsten light into one stupid 3800 Kelvin or whatever it is. You're gonna sacrifice your light accuracy to get more power? Put it in the trash. So Stella Pro, this is by Light in Motion. Nobody uses these guys. They're a new American company out of California. They've been making biking lights and diving lights for a long time. They just fairly recently got into the constant light game for photo and video professionals. Found them, love them. They're waterproof, love that. All right, let's see what it looks like. Bam, battery powered. If you look at our light, that's as powerful as the Aputure light is. I can fit 4 of these Stella Pros in the size that it takes 2 of the Aputures. I prefer them, even though they're much more expensive than the Aputure, because they're so small compared to the Aputure. But it kicks out as much power. That is fantastic. Just for kicks, let's look at the Lume Cube. The Lume Cube cannot be used as a spotlight. It just cannot. It's not powerful enough. If you do use it as a main reception light, it's either going to be attached to your camera, or if it's going to be used for toast, you're going to have it within 6 to 8 feet of your toaster. But let's see what it looks like here. From 30 feet, you can't even tell it's on. Let me make sure it's maxed out. There you go, now it's maxed out. From 30 feet, you cannot tell the Lume Cube is on, so you would have to walk up. Justin, tell me when it looks good on the monitor back there.
No.
So you gotta be within 5 feet with the Lume Cube to use it in the same way that you would use a Stella Pro or an Aputure. So it can be done if you're in a pinch, but not my first choice. I bought all these stinking lights because I wanted to know the qualities, what makes one good compared to the next, how powerful is it, how portable is it, how good is the battery life. I've invested a lot of money in buying lights, and I have to buy them all. Very expensive. So when I finally found one that I liked, super happy about it. Which brings us to our torch LED. I used these puppies for like 5 years. I forget who originally told me about them, but they were the standard back in the day. Don't use them anymore. Also bicolors. So we're gonna max out here. And unfortunately, they just don't have the throw, which is understandable. Their lights are 10 years plus older, so the technology isn't quite there. Let's see how close we have to get with the torch LED in order to equal a Stella Pro or an Aputure. Tell me when it gets similar to what you saw, Justin. It's got to be getting close. There?
No.
So the torch LED, if you get it within 10 feet, you can get a similar power output compared to the other ones. They no longer make these torch LEDs. So people have been wondering, what the heck do I use to replace them? If you want a slightly bigger size, the CLx10s with the Fresnel adapter, my first choice probably every time. But they're twice as big as the torch when you include the batteries. So you'd get 2 torch LEDs for the size in your case as the Stella Pro. This is the new one. This is the Stella Pro Reflex. Now, like I said, this is designed as a photography speed light. It's an amazing speed light. You can use your Pro Photo triggers to trigger it, and it will consistently do full power speed light without missing a single strobe. But we're going to check it out as a constant light for event videographers. So I have it hooked up to a USB-C battery. You can get it with the grip, which goes down here, which makes it great for hand holding. I thought it would be easier for me to be able to use my own battery banks, like what you would use to charge your cell phone or run your batteries on your camera. But let's take a look at what this looks like. Bam. Actually, that almost looks brighter than the other ones. So this goes up to 9,000 lumens battery powered. And this thing is as small as a Torch 250. But then you put whatever battery you want to on it. If you take off the modifier, there's 3 different modifiers you can put on the front. This one is a tight modifier, so you can flood it out more, but I like the tight one. You can put a different one on it. It's not a turnstile focus spotlight, but since I like using them as spotlights, look at that throw. If you want something small, something that has amazing power, and you can power it with USB-C, so it's amazing that it can throw that much power.
I've used this Aputure 60X for a few weddings, and I've also used the Stella Pros a bunch of times with Adams, and I'll definitely say that having the built-in batteries makes it extremely convenient on a wedding day. Stella Pro, you can get on a light stand and up in the air in like 20 seconds. An Aputure, you'll have to spend a good few minutes really putting on a battery or plugging it into the wall, whatever you need to do. And it just ends up taking much longer than it does with the Stella Pros.
So my favorite thing about the Stella Pros is if you're doing a nighttime shoot or a sunset shoot at a wedding, you pull it out of the bag, turn it on, it's ready to go. You can have it running in 2 seconds, which happens a lot when somebody's trying to sneak the couple out for a sunset shot without telling you. You say, we use the Stella Pro on a light stand in one of our most fun weddings. You went to that down in the Dominican, and the photos from that look amazing. The video from it looks amazing. I would never drag this overseas. It's way too big, and carry-on luggage and stuff. I could pack 8 of these. I can pack 8 of these for the size of this. Great if you're starting out and need something inexpensive. Amazing if you've been doing it a long time. If you shoot a lot of weddings that you travel on an airplane, you gotta get these. These are so good for that.
These Aputures are really great lights, but it was really convenient being able to just throw one of those Stella Pro lights in my backpack and fit perfectly fine. Never be able to do that with one of these Aputures. If you cannot afford a light that's 3 times the price, then definitely go with the Aputure 60Xs, because for the price of one Stella Pro, you can get 3 of the Aputure 60Xs.
I ended up buying 4 of these and 2 of the reflexes that just came out. So it costs a lot of money. They're triple the price of the Aputure. But the ease of use, how quick it is to turn this on and get going, how small it fits into a bag, makes it worth that extra price. And it's just as powerful. If you have these lights, photographers will be your best friend. They will be begging you to turn them on because it makes their job so much easier. That's how you make good friends with photographers, because they'll pull out their Walgreens special with the wrong color. And if you have something professional, it makes their job super simple. And I have a 20% off coupon, so you can start enjoying these right now. So the Stella Pro Reflex will replace your speed light and replace your constant lights. If you want a replacement for your Switchtronics core, this is the one to get. There's nothing as small as this that is as powerful as this. Stella Pro's solution for making it tungsten, not one that I would go for. I found out that you could just get a tungsten filter. This is a full CTO, and getting the right size one, it fits right into the modifier to make it instantly tungsten. Costs 30 bucks. It's not a knob, but you're not cutting your power in half when you're shooting on daylight. This is the Stella Pro Reflex with the CTO filter in there. And the settings are exactly the same. The only thing I changed it to 3200 Kelvin. So that's your difference in brightness. Let me go back to non-modified. Okay, and we're going to remove the modifier, remove the tungsten filter, replace the modifier. It's not that big of a difference. This is actually the first time I sat down to investigate the differences between all these lights. I do own all these lights, and I've owned all these lights for a long time. So being able to compare them side by side has been very enlightening. I could tell when using them that they were different, but seeing them side by side really emphasizes that difference. I use Aputures on my corporate shoots all the time, but for my event shoots, Stella Pro has to be. Thanks for joining Justin and I as we check this stuff out. I hope you are able to see the differences between the lights and find one that really suits your needs. I couldn't be happier with what Stella Pro is doing.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we have lots more creepy mannequin heads where that came from all your favorite video games. So make sure you tune in for some of the next videos.
We made some pretty looking lights in a pavilion in the park in the dark and the rain. We can show you how to make it look beautiful at a wedding reception. So check out our How to Shoot and Light Wedding Receptions mini course in the description below.
Where we teach you exactly how we use these lights in order to make people look amazing.
It means make a whole bunch of money shooting weddings.
While people look amazing.